Morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. This is different. I don't get to play on camera very often. We still got a lot of people dropping in. I'm just, yep, there's lots dropping in. So I'm going to get those polls started so we can get on to this presentation. So if you have a chance, do please find the question Q&A box, question box, and just drop in where you're calling from. We have Mark and Joel and Nate from the TAM team on the Q&A to answer any questions that come up. So we'll just get these polls started. Pretty simple. Do you currently install IQ Panel 2 Plus? All right, off to a good start. 80 plus, 85, 85%, 86. Looking great. We'll give this just a few more seconds. Only 70% of you got the chance to vote. All right, there we go. Just about 80, just over 80%. All right, cool. Has anybody installed IQ Panel 4 yet? Okay, so about 3/4, just less than 3/4 have not installed one yet. Rest assured, they are making their way to distribution. And we are definitely looking forward to your feedback. All right, great, a lot of people voting, awesome. Okay, yeah, so yeah, about 30% have installed an IQ4. That's awesome. Nice and easy. What percentage of your installs are table or counter mounted? Very, very key for their conversations today about panel cameras. So yeah, fair amount, but yeah, 80% or less than 15. 80% of you are using it less than 15% for tabletop mounts. Interesting. And about 15% are using more than half. Okay, give that one just a couple more seconds. People are still rolling in. All right. And the last one. So are you currently using a panel camera or a panel motion for automation, any kind of notifications? It's a yes, no, didn't even know it was possible. So we got about 50% not using it, and a fair amount of you didn't even know that was possible. So this will definitely be very key as we go through this webinar. You're going to see some pretty cool stuff that you can do with the panel camera. All right, just give everybody a couple seconds to vote. All righty, there we go. Okay. If my Joel, Mark, you can see my screen properly?
We can, but not your camera.
But not my camera. Well, that's strange.
I see both.
Oh,
okay.
It's just me then. Never mind.
It's just Joel then. All right. So yeah, we're welcome to episode 3 of our season 3 of technical workshops. This is the IQ4 series, and we're going to be talking about the new panel camera on the IQ Panel 4. So as we go through this, we're always innovating. If we start back in 2014 with IQ Panel 1, just the progression as we've gone through to IQ Panel 2 in 2016 and IQ Panel 2 Plus in 2018, and now 2 new panels, for 2021, the IQ Hub and the IQ Panel 4. So panel camera is not part of IQ Hub, but for IQ Panel 4, we're just going to go over it, right? So just a refresher for everybody: 7-inch all-in-one HD touchscreen, an octa-core or an 8-core system on a module, dual SRF Power G plus 319, 345, or 433. Better two-way voice and two-way voice over LTE is available. Everything about IQ Panel 4 is just faster, better range, right? It'd be a Power G, LTE, Wi-Fi dual path. We've switched to Bluetooth 4.2. Or obviously we've added the Z-Wave 700 series chip, giving incredible Z-Wave range. Our quad sound speakers, which the next session will be all about the quad sound speakers. And then we've mentioned already the built-in 8-megapixel camera with flex tilt, and then smart mount installation system, which is the webinar from last week that Mark ran. So just that overview of IQ Panel 4. All right, so we have an all new camera, right? So it's an 8-megapixel camera, has a 120-degree wide angle lens. We've added a flex tilt functionality, so you get even better disarm photos and alarm videos. So, if you look at what the 8 megapixel panel camera can do, right? Obviously, disarm photos, alarm videos, peek in now and peek in next motion. So these are just some of the functionality that you can get out of the panel camera on the IQ Panel 4. The images are pretty clear. Side-by-side comparison. So I did this last night in my house. Right on the left, IQ Panel 4 image, obviously better image quality, wider angle, and way more accurate colors, right? So this is actually a burgundy wall, and that is actually a bit of a, we'll call it a green accent wall. But you can just see, from the angle, this was an IQ2 and an IQ4 in the exact same place, right? So obviously, just everything about it is better. Flex tilt, right? So the flex tilt camera adjustment allows that built-in camera to be angled up or down. So depending on your installation need, right? So it's especially helpful when you're wall mounting over an existing keypad, that could be higher or lower, or using the table stand mounting or counter mounting, which is one of the reasons we asked that question during the polls. It is, kind of key to note that you want to use a small Phillips screwdriver to adjust the flex tilt, right? So, something like a Qolsys screwdriver with this end on it, with a little Phillips end works amazing for it. If you turn it clockwise, it'll angle the camera down. If you turn it counterclockwise, it's going to angle the camera up. We do want to caution everybody, be careful. Right? Don't strip the screw. Don't over tighten it past its limits. If you do, it'll actually pop, and then it'll actually reset back into place. So we have heard some feedback that people would like, we'll call it a different screw, a different mechanism. So we've heard that feedback loud and clear, and we are going to be making a running change within our factory, and you'll start seeing, we'll call it the modified flex tilt screw, over the next few months, right? It's just going to make it better, easier, and you're not going to be able to, accidentally pop and then have to reset and, start going down again. So, it is a plastic screw. Please be careful with it. Don't use too much pressure. You're not going to break it. You're just going to, it'll just become a little frustrating, and you're going to have to adjust it a second or third time, depending. And then obviously, you want to test what that view is. Again, if it's wall mounted, if it's table mounted, so you want to arm and disarm the panel, capture that disarm photo, and then just make sure your position's right, and then obviously adjust, as required. A lot of people have said, why did we put flex tilt in? Well, here's the perfect example, right? So this is the exact same scenario: IQ Panel 4 on a table mount, IQ Panel 2 on a table mount. Very similar to the previous pictures I showed. The IQ4 image, pretty clear. It's the same image. You look at the IQ Panel 2 image, and this is actually the same room. It's not like I'm tricking anybody. There's the doorbell, there's the green. This is the same room. The panel is looking at this, at the ceiling, right? So having that flex tilt capability, just to get those images, set up right and exactly what you're kind of looking for. And again, it all depends on mounting height, counter height, what people are looking to capture, how tall they're, as a perfect example. Okay, so peek in an image uploads, right? So this is the ability to peek into the camera. You do have to make sure your alarm.com service package includes images. So if you do not have images enabled, you can't peek in. You're not going to get disarm photos, uploaded to the alarm.com cloud, right? So there are obviously, once you go into images on the alarm.com portal, you can go to rules or settings, whatever the case is, but in this case, we got rules. And, you can peek in, in manual image uploads. I want them all the time. You can put schedules. I want alarm image uploads. I want disarm camera image uploads. So you have to choose those, on the alarm.com customer portal. They have to enable, the ability for the camera to, upload those images to the cloud. But again, and unless that service plan includes images, you unfortunately will, you can't do it, right? But using interactive gold images is part of that package. Okay, so we get a lot of questions on how to use peek in now and peek in next motion, right? So here is the app. Obviously, it's super simple. You click the camera icon within images on the app or on the customer website, and then you have the option to peek in now or peek in next motion, right? So a couple key things here. If you want to peek in now, first off, you have to enable your panel camera. We'll show you that on one of the next slides. If you want the ability for peek in next motion, you have to enable the panel motion detector, which uses the panel camera to trip that motion, right? So again, you want peek in now, you have to have the panel camera enabled, obviously. You want panel motion, for peek in next motion, you have to turn that on. So something that is not well known, and I think we've all done a pretty bad job of letting people know, is the image plan limits are actually times 10 when you're connected to Wi-Fi. Right? So if you are uploading images over Wi-Fi, on the alarm.com portal, if I go back, you see that image plan is 40. Well, actually, when you're using Wi-Fi, it is times 10, so it's now 400 images, right? So again, if you're connected to Wi-Fi, any images going over Wi-Fi come from that 40 or 60 or whatever package you have times 10, right? So then, again, you click that camera icon, you choose peek in now or peek in next motion. And I think this is very key, is that, the 10 times when connected to Wi-Fi is huge. That was a recent alarm.com enhancement. And we're just making sure everybody's aware of it. Okay, so for the panel motion, it's pretty simple to activate. You're going to go into settings, advanced settings, enter your user, your installer dealer code, go into installation, installer dealer settings, and then you have the option right there to enable the panel motion. So it's super simple. You just check it off. It will then show up as it automatically will jump to adding that as a sensor. Right, so you'll see, it's got its sensor ID, it's a panel motion, it's a safety motion. You can name it differently if you wanted to. You could have it chime if you wanted to. Right? If you wanted it to chime when people walk in front of the panel, it can do that. So a couple things that people need to understand about this. This is not an intrusion motion. It cannot be used to set off the alarm, to set off a siren. It is not used for intrusion purposes. It is purely for Z-Wave rules, notifications, panel motion notifications, but you cannot use it for a bird device, and there is no intention to make it possible to use it as a bird device. Right, so it's like sensor activity and Z-Wave rules. So mine, as an example, in my house, it's set up when I walk downstairs in the morning. It senses me, it turns on my living room light for me. Pretty simple. But that's how the panel motion works, right? So again, automation and activity notifications only. Okay, so the panel camera settings. So this is something that a lot of people forget to set up, right? So there's a few different settings in here. So we'll excuse me, a little under the weather. We'll go through them, right? So first off, you have to enable your panel camera. Right? So again, if we're talking about using that ability for peek in now, even peek in motion or peek in next motion, you still have to have the panel camera enabled. It also needs to be enabled for your panel motion to be enabled. Right? So you turn that on. You have an option for secure delete images. So if do you want the end user to have to use a master code when they want to delete those panel camera images? Then you have your image settings, right? So do you want disarm photos, right? So do you want every time somebody arms or disarms a system, do you want it to take a picture? And again, based on your alarm.com service package, upload that to the cloud. Same for your alarm photos, alarm videos, and settings photos. Right. So obviously, as installers, most of us want settings photos off, so the customer doesn't go into their images at a later date and see a picture of you staring at them through the screen. But you can choose each one what you're looking for, right? Disarm, alarm video, or settings photos. The alarm videos, same thing. The 8 megapixel camera, huge difference from IQ Panel 2 on the quality of those alarm videos. I'm going to pause right now. Is there any questions out there, gentlemen?
Hey, Neil. I've got one. The alarm videos, is that something that's going to be done in alarm.com? Are we going to be able to view the actual a live streaming image of the camera from alarm.com is one question, and the other question is the alarm videos that are captured, are they able to go to alarm.com as well?
Okay, so currently no, they are. That's a three-part question. So currently the images are stored on the panel. It is something we are working with the engineering teams at both JCI and alarm.com to get those accessible through the alarm.com dealer portal. We're also looking at some functionality to be able to pull those videos off the panel through the panel's access point. So those are two things that we're working on. As far as live view, was that the question, Joel? Live view of the camera?
Yeah, live streaming, like if through the app, can you live stream like an alarm.com camera?
So currently not. It is, there is a reason. There's a roadmap. Let's just put it that way. There's a reason we put an 8 megapixel camera in there. There is a roadmap to allow some pretty significant enhancements and cool new features, through that panel camera. We can't go into detail at this point, but I think you can, I think it would be reasonable to expect that at some point we'll be able to view this camera live. Yes. Anything else? Because this is going to be a very quick webinar otherwise.
I would actually just like for you to reiterate once more that about the panel motion not being a reporting zone. If you could just go through that one more time. I seem to be getting that question quite a bit here again.
Okay, yeah, so again, the panel motion detector is not an intrusion device and will never be an intrusion device, right? So when you enroll it, it shows up as a safety motion. So again, you can use it to trip chimes. You can use it for automation, right? Turning lights on. You can tie it because it is viewed as a sensor from the alarm.com backend, but not from a Berg sensor standpoint. You can use it for pretty well any kind of automation or just pure activity monitoring. Right, again, you could have somebody, if you think of small medium business, that doesn't necessarily have a door chime. They could have it where somebody every time somebody crosses the panel, it'll actually chime as if so if your panel was at the front door, it would actually chime when you were coming in the door. But yeah, it is not an intrusion device. It will not set off the alarm. It will not set off a siren. It's not going to go to the monitoring station. It is purely a local device that just takes advantage of the panel camera to be able to function as that motion detector and just give that that additional functionality. Does that answer it, Joel?
Yes, sir. Perfect.
Any other questions, please? Any other questions?
Another question here is Brandon wants to know if the panel videos are staying on the panel only, or can the central station jump on that camera in it while it's in alarm?
For the panel motion, it is
the
not.
panel camera.
So the panel camera, it is not accessible through this the monitoring stations yet. Again, as we go through, the future roadmap and what we're looking to be able to do with this camera, I think there will be some functionality if you're using that service where your monitoring station is allowed to view your cameras, that you would be able to have that. I'm not sure, what the demand is going to be for that. I mean, I don't know. I give my monitoring station access to my exterior cameras. I'm not really sure I want them having access to my interior cameras. But there is, as it becomes, as we go through this roadmap, there will be some development opportunities, and we'll definitely take that as a note. It is something that I think, it needs to be there as an option, giving people that flexibility if they wanted their stations to be able to view the panel camera. Yeah. We could definitely do that.
Neil, is I'm assuming it's the horizontal they're asking here. Is the field of view adjustable on the panel motion?
The field of view is not. No, it is. So left to right, it's 120 degrees. The tilt, I wish I had the spec right in front of me. The tilt, I want to say it's 40, 45 degrees, probably maybe a little higher, that you can tilt up or down. But, you cannot adjust the width of the camera image.
We do have areas that can be blocked off within the picture though.
Yeah.
So if there's like windows or something causing motion all the time, you can block those off like you would in a CCTV camera.
Right. So you can mask certain areas. I'll see if I can get my visor up and running here. You can definitely mask different areas. Is my PowerPoint showing again?
I see your PowerPoint.
Okay,
Mark,
yeah, as long as you can see it. Let me see if I can get this to work. So you can't mask, you can't mask cameras per, like the camera itself. You can mask the panel motion through the panel motion settings, right? You do have that ability to mask areas that if you did not want, certain activations to happen, you could mask those sections, like you said, windows and things like that. I'm just trying to get in through. I'm just trying to get into my panel remotely here. And this is why we do not like doing things live. Now, unfortunately, my visor is not working properly. Oh, can't show it. Sorry.
Oh, good. We tried.
I was trying. Are there any other questions pending? Because again, if not, we're going to give people some time back in their day.
Not a ton that we weren't able to answer here. A lot of the same ones that we've already asked out loud.
All right, cool. Well, just as a friendly reminder, we will not be having a workshop next Thursday, as we're going to be obviously observing the U.S. Thanksgiving. And then we'll get everybody back on December 2nd, and we'll be talking about the smart sound and the quad sound speakers and what you're going to be able to do with IQ Panel 4. We do thank you. Again, these are meant to be, less than 30 minutes, so we're a little shorter with 21 minutes today, but everybody can get 9 minutes back in their day. We do thank you all for your attendance as always. If there are, there is a survey afterwards. If if there's items you would like us to cover after we do, please fill out that survey. We will be doing after season 3 starts. We're going to be having a few select webinars coming up, so stay tuned for those details. It'll be talking about some of the new products, that are either entering beta or about the launch. So we'll be having just a couple presentations on a few things and some enhancements. As a sneak peek, as an example, we're going to have a webinar or a session on the IQ Hardwire Power G. So the kind of what's coming in version 1.2 and some of the new features that you can expect to see. That'll be one of them, and there'll be some other ones. So we'll announce those on our social media as always, on our Facebook pages and our Facebook groups. And but definitely we have 3 more sessions in season 3 here on talking about IQ Panel 4. And then we're looking forward to seeing everybody. But again, like I said, back on December 2nd, June. It's snowing here in Edmonton. I'm already thinking of Christmas. But we'll see everybody back on December 2nd. And again, thank you all for your time. And
so
you have a great rest of your day.
Neil, there was a question just about previous sessions. So since we just have a few moments, just a reminder on how they can review our recorded sessions.
Yeah, so all of our workshops from season 1, season 2, and what's so far in season 3 are on our Qolsys YouTube channel. So just youtube.com/Qolsys. You can search for technical workshops, and every webinar, just for everybody's clarity, every webinar we do, be it Jeremy's amazing marketing webinars, technical workshops, everything is on our YouTube channel. If you have questions, you can reach out to us. But yeah, right there, youtube.com/Qolsys, and you'll be able to take a look at everything. All right. Anything else, gentlemen?
That's it.
All right. Well, everybody have a good rest of your day, and thanks for your time.